I'm David Williams. I'm your moderator. So I'm going to be, and John is the assistant moderator or co-moderator or something. But I'm going to turn this over to Judy to begin the presentation. So John and I will be muting and unmuting you. So as I said, you can either talk and chat, or raise your hand if you got a video. Because I said, everybody, I think, that's got video is on this one screen.
Blanca's on twice.
Who's on twice?
Blanca Gonzalez, in case you care. Anyway.
She must be, she's not on video.
Oh, I know, but she's on twice with no video.
Okay.
I'm Judy Talor, and I get to talk all the time if I want to. Welcome to the August VTC Roundtable, and it's up for grabs on what we're going to talk about. This is the first time with the VTC that I had the registrations at Eventbrite close at midnight Friday night, and between Tuesday, when I sent out my last-minute reminder email, 100 people registered for a total of 168 people. And as Patricia can testify, when you have a conference, everybody registers at the last minute. You don't think anybody's going to attend, and all of a sudden they come out of the woodwork. So it was interesting because most of the time I spend all Saturday morning fielding up to 50 late registrants and helping with problems that way. And I only got 2 people this time that couldn't register yesterday. So that was way cool. But we hope you enjoy our virtual technology conference presentations today. And I would like to invite you to the November 1, November 2, when we will have, again, 6 different presentations. If you have any suggestions for presentations, let me know. I'm J. Talor at apcug.org. If you have some kind words to say about some of the presentations you saw today, participated in, I'd love to get a few nice words to put up on the website when I start uploading stuff this evening, just as a thank you to the presenters for their good work. I'm going to share a little bit about presentations. And to start this off, I think program chair is the most difficult position there is in the computer club. I guess I should take tech club. I'm trying to get myself to say that all the time. So I'm going to start with a little presentation about that. Hopefully you will find some 1 or 2 new ideas. If you have ideas that are not included in the presentation, would you please type them in the chat box? So when I upload this presentation to the website, I can include all the extra ideas that I've never thought about. I'd really appreciate that. So here we go. Come on, get out of my way. Oh.
You can hit F5.
Yeah, I just wanted to get that out of the way. I can't see my PowerPoint. Sorry, we can't get to your account right now. That's not me. Somebody has some good ideas on how I can get rid of the bar up there so I can see the top of my PowerPoint bar.
Which bar are you talking about?
Mute, stop video, participants, new share, pause share, annotate, remote control, and more.
You should be able to click down at the bottom and get rid of it.
It's at the top.
Well, I realize that, but you've got to minimize it. It's not minimized. Why is it? You must have pinned to something. Because it should minimize itself. Well, if you want to see your PowerPoint presentation.
How about if I stop my share and I go back in again?
You sharing the PowerPoint or you sharing the...
I'm sharing my PowerPoint. Here I go again.
If you share your screen, it work better.
Yeah, I'm sharing the screen.
Now the other stuff won't show up on top.
But there it is again.
Okay, well, if you hit F5, you can...
Which one are you doing? You talking about that brown one?
I'm talking about the black one that says mute, stop video, participants, new share, resume share, annotate, and remote control. It's covering up my PowerPoint bar.
And it probably will, because every time you move your mouse up to that, it's when it goes.
No, it's up there when I open up PowerPoint.
Okay, hit F5 and you can go to full screen PowerPoint.
That doesn't work.
Okay, that's because...
Aha!
We there.
There it is.
Side by
All
side.
right. And as I said, the program chair, as far as I'm concerned, is the most difficult job, and many of the presidents now are doing double duty, which puts extra burden on them. So my question for you guys, is your group keeping up with new technology? Or are you one of those groups that is still stuck in the computer software type general meeting programs? And groups have told me that they want to move on, but it's like pulling teeth to get their members to make the move from computer-related meetings to new technology. I had that happen with my group when Windows 7 came in. They were happy with XP, loved it, and at each meeting, I showed something about Windows 7. And then I did the same thing with 8. And then I did the same thing with Windows 10. And slowly but surely, everybody converted. They passed by Windows 8, to be honest with you, the majority of them. If Windows had been 8.1, it might not have been so bad. But, you know, they were stuck. But I just kept showing something each meeting until everybody was on board with the newest of Windows programs. On the computer side, every time there's a Windows 10 release, do you go through what's new to give them an idea of what they may or may not want to use in the new version? I always tell my members that I'd really like them to check their security selections each time there's a revision, just in case Microsoft has changed something for us, because our meetings are about educating people, and we should really include at least one or two things in every meeting about something that's happening right now. So these are the community ones. I've had every other year somebody from the astronomy club locally give a presentation on how they use astronomy with computers. It's been fascinating. I've seen groups that have had chiropractors and they give ergonomics presentation. My group's had a city disaster preparedness person in September so I could get some publicity along with National Disaster Preparedness Month. I'm still using some of the things that she talked about, and this was several years ago. I recently have seen a Red Cross presentation on the same thing, and it is just a wonderful presentation, and they always bring handouts, and everybody loves handouts. I'm sure your city has a website. We had the webmaster come out and give us a presentation on navigating the website, and it was extremely embarrassing because the person asked how many people had gone to the website and looked at anything, and there were only 3 of us that raised our hand. So I had wished that he hadn't asked that question. And we have a new thing with our traffic control out here, and they're previewing some things that go with the signals so they can see it's, you know, backed up. They need to have the other way go faster. He's going to come out next month and give a presentation on that app. Many people have dentists come out and talk about technology. And of course, I think we've all had the fire and police department come out. One time we all went out and had the opportunity to sit in the police car. I used to do that with my preschoolers, but the adults had a good time doing that too. Every month, every January, we have a short presentation by somebody from the genealogy club. The last one was on DNA, good or bad. Excellent presentation. My grandson was the head person of the robotic club, grandson number 1. They came out and showed us one of their mini robots they had and talked about how they're using their 3D printer. Groups have had somebody from their local hospital, somebody's doctor come out, talk about technology and health services. I always liked Charlie Semple from the Los Angeles Computer Society. He said they aren't the same old libraries anymore. And I do notice that many groups have them come out once a year to talk about the new technology. Of course, in my valley, I can't get them to come out. Other groups have had charities give presentations on how they use technology. If you have local radio, TV stations, they have webmasters. And the TugNet group that is the valley south of me, the president has contacted Fritz Coleman, who is the KNBC weatherman. He's been to her group twice giving presentations. So that's not too shabby. Recently, I saw a group meets in a church. They had a presentation on how the church uses technology. And if you're lucky enough to have a Microsoft store in your area, we have groups down in San Diego that, you know, every once in a while they have a meeting there and they give them a presentation. They came out to the Southwest Conference and gave presentations for a few years. Online banking, we've probably all had that. But you might want to, you know, contact your post office and see if they'll give a presentation. We had one and it was really interesting. You never know where you can find a presentation. Tech columns. They all have almost everything you need to put a presentation together. And it's just like the push articles. You need to give attribution. I have permission from Ask Leo, Dave's Computer Tips, How to Geek, and Make Use Of, for us to use their articles in our newsletters, as well as take things from there and create mini presentations. I use How to Geek all the time for mini presentations because all the screenshots are right there. Tech Boomers tutorials, we also can use those. And it's National Cybersecurity Awareness Month in October. And there's lots of good stuff at stopthinkconnect.org resources. And it can be used for anything you would like to. They have one on spring clean your computer. And I've given that twice, or actually spring clean your devices now. It's gone from computer to devices. I've given that a couple of times over the years. So what I'm using, here's an article from How to Geek. Organize your files, your Google Docs into folders. Okay? All the ads are there and everything. So I've started using the reader view. And it makes it so much easier to put a presentation together. I can save this as a Word document and refer to it later, work with split screen. It's easier to work with a split screen from Word to PowerPoint than it is for me to use the article on the website. One of our presidents locally here in SoCal, he will give a presentation just from the article, whether it's How to Geek or Make Use Of, and I've shown him how to use the reader view that makes it, you know, hello, the ads are all gone, but everything else is there, and it makes for a better presentation for him. And these are just new things I've seen. Mini 20-minute tech talks, 2 at a meeting. Q&A rounds out the meeting. The Under the Computer Hood user group is trying something new this month. This is September. It's called the 5-Minute Tech Blitz. Get ready for some rapid-fire technology info as each of their board members presents a new tech topic or tidbit in only 5 minutes per segment. You're sure to learn a lot in just a little time. You can't tell me that we all can't get members to do something for 5 minutes. My members don't give presentations. I mentioned this at our August meeting, and they looked at me and they said, are we going to start this next month? Are you going to decide who is going to do this? And I said, no. I said, it looks like you guys are ready to go. I'll just send out an email and y'all can volunteer. I said, 1, 2, 3, however many people want to do it. And you know, if nobody answers my email, I will choose people to give a 5-minute Tech Blitz talk. Ideas from the groups again, assigned presentation for to members. I think that might have been the Chicago Computer Society from our last roundtable. I'd love to know how that works. One group, again in SoCal, they input a lot of information new on their website every month. He shows what's new. Do you often wonder if your members even look at your website? How about giving them a tour? Some groups use TED Talks. We have Frank here from the Fredericksburg group, and I got this idea from them. Each year they have a state of the club, and they talk about their finances. I believe they elect their officers, and then they refresh people's memory on what they learned during the year. So that's something, for your members. Oh yeah, in March we talked about that. Yeah, and I really enjoyed that presentation. Oh darn, I missed the July presentation. It looks like it was really good. So in addition to recruiting members, we need to keep our members and refreshing their memory on what went on for the 12 months in presentations, SIGs, field trips, etc. You're going to keep their interest. So how can APC UG help? Use the UGLS, find out what groups are in your area, and share presenters. We have several groups in the LA area, and I'm the one who shares the presentation, and Dr. Sexton, who is attending today, he is also kind enough to give his presentation to other groups also. You might want to read other member group newsletters on the website, click through, and see what's happening in their clubs. Find a presentation that you like, send them an email and say, hey, would you share the PowerPoint? Did you have it via webinar? Could I have the contact information? And also, many of the push articles that are sent to your editors, again, have screenshots. You can turn one of the push articles also into a mini presentation. And of course, all of our VTC presentations are uploaded to our YouTube channel. And the people that haven't used this, or groups that haven't used this, all of a sudden the presenter says, I can't come. And they're one of the groups that the same people have been giving the presentations to the groups. They're tired of giving presentations. The members are tired of seeing and hearing the same people giving the presentations. Try a VTC video. And the majority of the groups that have done this get hooked. And they always have one or two that just in case they can open up and show really quickly. And my favorite is the Speakers Bureau. This was put together brainstorming-wise between Don Singleton and me in 2012. And in the spring Q2 reports, it was announced. We have 75 plus presentations by 15 presenters. This tells you who they are, how many presentations they have in the can. You'll notice it says Francis, many presentations. Need to click through to his website to see his list of the gazillion presentations that he gives. Jerry Minnick is doing 60-minute presentations, but he also does mini presentations. And you can choose any 3 you want to for a meeting. The Los Angeles Computer Society is having him in November. Huey has 7, and he's got one that he's working on that will be available for next year. I'm a generalist. David is a generalist. Huey is, a generalist, so to speak. Jerry is the iDevice person. John Kennedy is the Linux guy. So make use of the Speakers Bureau. Gene Barlow has 3. Bob G., He has his annual security presentation. I'm booking his webinars from Albuquerque as we speak. If you would like to have one at your October meeting, get in touch and I'll see if there's room on his calendar for you. Joe Kissel is the publisher and author of Take Control Books down in San Diego. He has 3 presentations that he gives. He's also given them at the VTCs. He doesn't give presentations on Tuesdays because he's involved with his kids at that time. Leo Notenboom said he'd give presentations, but I have yet to see in anybody's newsletter that anyone has actually asked him to give one. Our good friend Abby has 7, and check the Geeks on Tour website and ask them to give the presentation of your choice. It's interactive. You get to see the presenter at the beginning. They share the screen. At the end, it's live again for Q&A. We have a couple of groups that this is how they're still in business. They don't have anybody locally that gives presentations. Their members don't give presentations. So during the year, they have 10 interactive webinars. It's just like we're in the room with them, a holiday party and a picnic. And they've been doing this since October 2017, and they're still moving right along, getting new members. No internet, slow internet, use a hotspot. We have at least 2 groups that I know of that are using a hotspot because one, the internet is very slow, and the other one, there's absolutely no internet at all. All you have to do is complete the form. I acknowledge it. I send it on to the presenter gets in touch. I step out of the picture, and you work with the presenter unless the presenter says, I'm sorry, I can't do it on that day. Usually they let me know, and I let you guys know. If you would like a list by presenter with descriptions, again, send me an email and I'll send one out to you. What we've been doing in SoCal is we've been using the lists and going through it very quickly at a meeting and saying, shout out when you see one that you would like to see. And when I did that very quickly, I got 6 presentations that my members are interested in, instead of me choosing one that maybe they're not that interested in. So it works really well if you use the list that way. So that was my presentation ideas, and I am going to stop sharing. Over to you guys. Figure out what you want. Ask some questions. Let's talk about it.
Okay. I'm still thinking about it. Huey in his last presentation talked about Evernote, talked about a presentation mode in Evernote. And you talked about using a Word document, and I just asked him if he would just quickly talk about the availability of using Evernote when you're searching the web and then you got a presentation. You understand what I'm talking about, Huey?
Yeah, it's not quite that, but if you use Evernote, you save the note to Evernote. And if you use the Windows version of it, it doesn't work on other mediums, but I do know it works on the Windows. It may work on Mac. I'm not sure, but it does not work in the Chrome version. There is a presentation mode that is much like the what Judy showed, where it just cuts out all of the extraneous ads and menus and everything else, and but it also makes it huge, and it makes it very easy to go through, and it does a nice job of presenting.
Cool. So you save the link there, and off you go.
Yeah, let me in the background open up an article. Hang on a second, and then I'll switch and I'll show you on the screen.
Okay. And you might think, Huey's been presenting Evernote for several years. Realize we all update our presentations almost every single time we give it. At least I do. I did the same thing with my curriculum when I taught tech classes. I was bored with myself if I was talking about the same thing. So 3 times a year, I updated a few things on every class. Huey just updated Evernote. I can't wait to have him do it for my group because I call it my yellow Post-it program.
Yeah, it's syncing. I haven't started it on this machine lately, so let's see if I can grab a different article.
And David Williams is also coming up with a new presentation also, so that will be an extra one to add to his repertoire.
Yeah.
And Ron Brown is always coming up with new presentations too. So you really should take advantage of the Speakers Bureau.
Yeah. We ought to get due is Ron give one on his way down from Vancouver to Mesa, let his wife drive, and he can give presentations all the way down.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Can I do that? Let's see. Yeah, I can do that. Okay. And screen.
Better luck than I had.
Share. Are you seeing my Evernote?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And I am in an article, and here is click this, and hopefully it will work. And there is the article.
Outstanding.
It's got a, what do you call it? A cursor. Turns into a pointer.
A blue thing flying through.
Yeah. And you can change the color. But I can click on this. It makes it larger. I can make it just a little bit smaller so it fits, or make it bigger. And then go back to the article. And so there's another one here. I click on it. So it makes each, and I'll just make it, I'll just zoom out just a little bit. So you can see any of the graphics that are in the article, and then come out of it and just scroll down. And there's the whole article in nice big print, taking up the whole screen. And then I can get out of it by just clicking here, and I'm back to that, and I'll unshare and we can yak.
Outstanding. So two new ways. If you don't want to put a mini presentation into a PowerPoint, you could use Reader View in Word or Evernote and their presentation view. And in the Reader View, if you were really lazy, you could have it read the presentation to your attendees.
Judy, Steve Rosenstein has a real good presentation that I'm going to ask him to talk about.
Okay.
So, Steve, you're unmuted. Steve, he sent me a chat. Okay. Well, Mike, that's how it works. He said that he gave a presentation on smart TVs just this week. Largest turnout in years. Too many for the room. Half regress. I don't know.
He says he doesn't have AV. Oh, I guess he doesn't have audio either.
Have him type in Steve, could you type in the chat box what group you're with? Yeah, I can ask myself.
Yeah, your fingers broke.
And Frank Coda, yes, the videos will be uploaded to YouTube after Francis and I are finished with them. Date TBD.
Yeah, he's from the PPCUG. PPCUG is Steve. Tennessee. Oh, that's one of my groups. I didn't realize.
Ron was going to say something.
Plateau or Platuna?
Yeah. Plateau.
Plateau. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to unmute Ron because he had a raised his hand. Ready to go, Ron.
So I use Google Keep. Now I don't use Evernote, but I have a lot of experience with Google Keep. Now I just did some search, and there's actually a Chrome extension called Google Keep Presentation Mode. Does anyone use that, or does anybody know about? Like, I really like what Huey's doing, except I use Keep, and it looks as though there's a presentation mode for Google Keep. Does anyone know anything about that?
Can you describe what Google Keep does?
It's the same as Evernote. Yeah, it's the same. It's a free service by Google, and it's you can store your websites, you can store articles, you can store all sorts of information in Google Keep, and it's part of the Google ecosystem. And if you go to that little 9-dot menu at the end of Chrome and open that up, you'll see it. It's part of the Google ecosystem.
Yeah, I have it set up as a little dot on the bottom of my screen. I said I use that for short-term notes because I use my Evernote for something I want to read later. But if I'm doing something and I want a reminder, like today, kept track of the questions in Google Keep. It may have been a presentation mode that I saw somewhere. It may have been on the Chromebook that I downloaded it, because it said I've got several different presentations, and I seem to remember there were 2 Google Keeps that showed up on my Chromebook. So maybe the presentation mode, I haven't tried it, but I need to look at it, because that would help too. I'd like to see how that goes.
Yeah. Like, I really like what Huey's doing. I think that's great, but I don't use Evernote. I guess I could learn it, but it's just another program I got to learn. And I've used Google's Keep for years. I have all my research, all my projects indexed in Google Keep, and so I think that it's if this presentation mode works, then maybe that's a great idea. I really like what Huey does. It's a great idea for SIGs and stuff like that in presentations. So I'm going to try it. I was just wondering if anybody else had used it.
Is Google Keep available on all the typical platforms?
Yep, it's available on any platform.
Oh, great. I got to check into this. This is the first time I hear about it.
Yeah, it's part of the Google ecosystem, and it's linked into all the other Google items, Google stuff you do. It's all linked there together. Look at it.
And as I said, I'll toss a Judy presentation that I know she had utilities, and that's one of my favorite presentations, is utilities for the computer and phone, and I think I'm going to add Chromebook stuff to it. But as I said, that I think Judy has a program similar to that, and that's always one to update, because people, used to come, they want to get something, and they want to get it for free. So if you can give them one free program or something to try at a meeting, they really love it. At one time, we were having a program of the month. At one time, we had more people show up, that somebody demonstrated for the first 5 or 10 minutes of the meeting a program. And it was sort of like Judy's, we asked for volunteers. If not, we made volunteers. And that was very successful until we got down to about 10 or 11 members. Then it sort of got monotonous to make anybody come up and give a presentation. Yeah, Huey?
Besides Evernote and Keep, Microsoft has OneNote as well. I don't know if they have any kind of a presentation mode, but that's also a free program from Microsoft.
As long as we're talking about utilities, Bob G has a new one that he recommends. Would you talk about that, please? You'll want to add this to your list too, David.
I think it was when he just put down. Okay, yeah.
It's called Rollback RX.
Oh.
Now, I started off by using the free version, which allows you to make up to 7 snapshots. And unlike what comes with Windows, which takes forever to create and forever to restore, a snapshot takes hardly anything time-wise, and restoration is just as quick, and it happens to be accurate. I was doing some beta testing and just about wiped out everything I had. Rollback, thank God it was on the system, brought it right back to me. That was the end of my problem with that particular beta test. But without rollback, I would have had to go back to an image, but I would have lost a week's worth of work. Here, all I did was lose a couple of hours worth of work. I've been so impressed with that program. I actually spent I got a little sale on it, so about $60 to purchase the paid version.
Yeah, as I said, I will.
The free version. Well, the free version, it gives you 7 snapshots. Once you've used up those 7 snapshots, you have to go in and erase an older snapshot in order for it to create a newer one. If you don't do that, your last snapshot will be the 7th that it took, and you don't have any follow-up on it in the free version. That's why I said, you have to weigh. You can just simply go in, erase one, and now we'll go ahead and create a new snapshot. But if you've taken the 7 that are allowed in the free version, it's not going to create another one. That's the big difference between paying for it and using the free version. Free one, it does the exact same job, exactly the same way, only it limits how many snapshots you can take.
Bob, does rollback do a snapshot automatically, or you have to willingly create one?
It does automatic, but you can willingly do one if that's what you want to do. But it will do it automatically.
How often?
Once per day. So your 7 don't last very long. You have
once
to go
per
back.
day only. Okay.
Right. which means you have to go in once the 7 have been created and get rid of a couple, because by then you already know, do I really need that snapshot, or I'm keeping myself safe with what is happening in the background. So as long as my computer is working properly, I know I don't have an infection. I don't have a problem with the system. I really don't need something that's 7 days old. I can get rid of one of the old ones, and then tomorrow morning, before it starts, it will have created a new snapshot for me.
How does that, I don't know if you remember the days of Go Back, and I'm talking.
Well, that's basically the way this works, is Go Back. But it is grease lightning. It is quick. And it boots before the operating system ever starts. So you have the home button is what their trigger finger is. When it shows you when the system first boots, if you need to restore your system, which is what happened with me. My system, blue screen of death, and it never came out of it. I had nowhere to get to anything. I couldn't get to safe mode. I couldn't get to anything. The only thing I saw prior to anything happening was the rollback screen. And that's what I wound up using. Rollback came up, I hit the home button, and now I had my choice. Okay, what do you want to restore it to? I took the restore prior to the blue screen coming up. I'm back in business. I also know, get rid of that beta. Something's a matter with it. So,
yeah. So I can tell you. Go on.
Sorry, who makes rollback?
Hold on.
Just Google it.
Yeah, it's called Rollback RX. Rollback, one word, and then RX.
Yeah,
Brian just put the link to it in the chat box.
Okay. No,
yeah,
that's
it is
fine.
Verizon data system. Yeah,
I Googled it. I found it.
It's a Verizon data system.
Corporation. Okay.
Yeah, it's very good. As I said, I used it back, I don't know, 10 when it first came out.
Yeah, it's not a new.
It's not a new program.
Yep.
And we got it for, I'll make Bob feel bad. At the time I got it, it was $25 a program.
Mm.
But what we did was we got a 10 licensed version. We had
Not for $25.
No, $25
Oh.
a piece.
Okay.
So what it was that they got it, and the only thing that I want to comment is that, as you said, it boots before the system.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to clone your disk or do anything with the operating system, you have to disable RX prior to doing that, or you're going to really do things because the RX boots first.
Right.
And so you don't want it booting and then you trying to clone the disk, because it will boot before, you're booting or trying to change operating systems and stuff. So all you got to do is disable it and do what you got to do. Then you can enable it again.
So you cannot upgrade. You cannot upgrade Windows while it's there.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
No,
Well,
yes,
no,
you
well,
can.
Windows
No,
10
no, no,
upgrades
no, no,
on top. No, Windows
Yeah.
10 upgrades on top. So
Yeah.
you can do that because it said it doesn't use the operating system. So it said Windows 10. If you're upgrading on Windows 10, that's not a problem. If you're using the CD or DVD and your drive to do something that boots from the operating system or boots before the Windows starts, is when you got to disable it.
I got
If
it.
Windows is already starting like in Windows 10, you're no problem because it's fine.
So you can go from 1809 to 1903.
Oh, no problem. No.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
that's fine.
Okay, got it.
Because it said it's all done with the operating system. It's when you're booting, you want to boot you want to boot before the operating system operates and that. Yes, Judy.
Can we seg over to what's happening with computer clubs?
Yes. Okay.
Patricia probably has some questions.
Did she have some? Okay, we can mute her.
Unmute her, John, somebody.
Oh, there it is.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Can anybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. We're having multiple problems here in Arizona. Basically, it started out when we had to change meeting days and times because of the HOA where we meet. They took our date and time, and we had to move from the first Tuesday to the first Wednesday. As a result, we lost a few members. I don't really know how many, but we lost too many. Basically, the computer booters are stale. We've been running the meetings exactly the same way for I don't know how many years, but it's too many. We have an outside speaker. We are having a problem getting our members involved. They will ask questions after a presentation, but otherwise nobody volunteers. We started a coffee and cookie time a half hour before the formal meeting starts. That helped a little bit, but it's just they come in, they sit down, and they just expect to be entertained, and then they're done and they go home. I don't know if we're going to last the year. If our current president has her way, I think we won't. Al and I, for years, went to Comdex, went to whatever the other new one is.
CES.
Yes. Went to every APCUG conference we could. We'd come home with pages and pages of suggestions, and nothing happened. I don't really know, what's going to go on. I know Judy is going to share her PowerPoint, but I also took some notes today and what, some good ideas for presentations. I don't know. We're just kind of at a loss now. Albert just joined us. What do you have anything to say?
Well, we just can't get anybody to volunteer. The president's been there 4 years. We've been in it for 25 years, and we're the oldest people in there, and we just can't get any new ones. We don't know how to. I guess the younger people retiring here don't seem to care about a computer club in this retirement area. You got any suggestions?
Does anybody have any suggestions? Well, number one, the people who are moving into your retirement community have already been there, done that, and they're really not interested in learning anything new because what they use, smartphones, tablets, et cetera, they're very comfortable with. And that's the way it is with many groups.
Steve, we're in Arizona. We're a suburb of Phoenix. And one thing that I've done is that I contacted Ron Brown in Mesa. And he's involved with an organization called EVAC, East Valley Association of Computer Clubs. And he's having a meeting of their member clubs in November, and we plan on attending then, hoping that it's not too late as far as still being viable. And we used to have 2 meetings a day, 2 meetings a week. 2 meetings a month, and one was basically for beginners and the other one was for more advanced. Now we're down to maybe 150 members.
Oh, Lord. People would kill for 150 members, but how many do you have come out to meetings?
That's another number.
70, if we're lucky.
How many?
70.
Oh, come on, Al. Patricia, people are moving along with 5 or 6 or 10 members.
Well, we're way above that,
So consider yourself lucky for that.
Absolutely, I can relate to that. Our club is also around 160 members plus.
Say your name, please, so we know who's talking.
I'm sorry, this is Pierre Darmo. I'm the president of the Westchester PC Users Group in White Plains, New York. Our club is also about 160. We have been declining over the past several years. Long before I even joined the club, I heard, and I'm talking long ago, I heard that the club had 600 members. But at our general meeting each month, if we get 40, 45 people, that's a good day. So if you have 70 at your meetings, consider yourself lucky because that's half your membership.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Is your membership renewing every year? The people don't show up at meetings. Are they still renewing the club membership?
The vast majority do. But of course, we're losing members gradually all the time.
Yeah, we are too. But as I said, we haven't. Most of them is just by attrition that they get old and.
Not just that. Actually, we're losing more of the recent members. They don't stay.
Oh.
Patricia, have you surveyed your members to see what they're interested in presentation-wise or learning about?
It's been a while since we've done that.
John Roy from Connecticut has a really good survey.
Okay.
I'll send it to you.
Okay, thank you. And I like the idea of that you gave earlier about showing the Speakers Bureau list at a meeting and just say, who's interested in this page, anything on this page, who's interested in anything on this page, and take it from there. We're going to try and work with the Wi-Fi. I went over to the club a week or so ago, and I ended up with I thought pretty good speed. So we'll see how that works out, and if not, then we'll just use a hotspot.
Okay.
Is anybody attending using a hotspot for their meetings?
Is anybody using it?
Yeah.
I have a hotspot that I've used occasionally. As I said, our router went down, and I've got it as a backup.
Okay, Ron Brown, unmute yourself and talk about it if you're using a hotspot.
Bob started to ask a question.
Yeah, Patricia, if you want to test whether or not yours works, anytime, just let me know. I'd be happy to do it with you.
Okay, I'll do that. Thanks.
Good. I was just going to ask Patricia one thing before Ron gets started, if you don't mind, about the club. Do you have any way of advertising to the HOA in general? In other words, when you have, what I'd like to do is part of what you need to do is get new members. and you're sort of like limited to what is in the retirement community. And I was wondering, you know, these new people are coming in, you know, is there anything you can do or survey to get them to show up, you know, like advertising who your speaker is? Because you got the people that are coming want one top. I thought that if you could get these new people surveyed or find out what they'd be interested in, you know, then you may get some new people to show up or to drop in, and then you got from word of mouth from the different people.
Mm-hmm.
And can't you reach out to other communities now?
Yes, we can now, and we have. There's two not very far from us. For one, we have, I don't know, maybe a half dozen members who joined. The other one is just a little bit farther away, and our meetings start at 6:30, and I don't want to drive at night. So, you know,
Yeah.
we ran into that. We do have a monthly newspaper that goes throughout the community. We always have articles in that. We have flyers throughout the community. Sun Lakes is basically 3 different communities or phases, and each one of them has big bulletin boards and things like that. And we have flyers available on from them. We have the cable company is local, and they have a particularly local channel, and we have an announcement up there. But if you've got DirecTV or anything else other than their cable, you're not seeing that. But it's hit and miss anytime you advertise.
Okay. Thanks, Pat.
Ron,
Okay.
hotspot comment?
Yeah.
We have chronic problems with internet in our resort, so we've elected to use a hotspot. Hotspot works really well. We use a Verizon, I think it's 6620, which is a device, and you cost about $200 to buy it. And then Verizon actually has prepaid plans. So rather than having to sign up for an ongoing plan, because you know, obviously there's 4 or 5 months of the year we don't use it because we're not there. So we only want to pay for it as we go. So you can prepay for whatever amount of data you want, whether you want 2 gigabytes a month, 4, or unlimited data. Now, with the advent of 5G coming and the networks that are available, particularly in urban centers like large centers, the rates that you're getting now are incredible. I mean, we're getting 160 megabit download and probably about 40 up wherever I take the hotspot. Now, I mean, that's perfect for anybody. And we use these for our general meetings on Monday mornings in the big auditorium. It works great. We also keep it available for our, because of the large resort nature of where we are, we can do lots of different rooms that don't have internet availability, and we can just take the hotspot and use it. So it really, I don't think anybody should really be complaining or have a problem of slow internet speed, because the technology now with using these devices, and it's not just Verizon, T-Mobile has them, AT&T, all these people have very fast. And with 5G coming, all these networks, I remember with the hotspot 2 or 3 years ago, the best I could get out of it was probably 25, 30 megabit download. Now, wherever I go in our area, it's at least 160, and it's not really based on the number of people on either, so I don't see any slowing down of this. The networks have got so big and they're so fast now that this is a 4G. We're even kind of coming into 5G hotspots pretty soon, so there shouldn't be any reason that people have slow internet anymore. Just my comment.
Help for Patricia and Al and the booters?
No,
Ideas?
Patricia. Okay.
Dan
Just really
Douglas
want to say
is
something.
waiting
Patricia,
on
got one question. What club are you at?
Computer Booters of Sun Lakes.
Okay, because Steve Rothstein is going to be down in Phoenix for the winter, and I guess he wanted to know where you were. So.
Oh, he'll have a good time visiting all the clubs around Phoenix.
Okay.
A ton of them.
Okay, we'll get together. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, Huey, did you want to say something?
Yeah.
Over to Dan. Whoa.
Oh,
hey.
Dan was first.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm from the Space Coast PC user group, right, in Merritt Island, Florida, Cocoa area. And I've been the club president for about 5 years. Similar situation, when I joined, they had 400 members technically on the books that was receiving the newsletter, but they were dropping off at a very fast rate. And the actual attendance at the meetings was likely to draw, lucky to draw maybe 20 people. And we used to have monthly meetings, one monthly meeting, and we did this thing called the Learning Center, which was held at the local shopping mall in one of their community rooms, where you had the opportunity to do one-on-one working with people with whatever problem or thing they wanted to learn. So what we've done is expand the Learning Center concept to every other Saturday at the local library. We get their big conference room, big board table. You can easily put 20, 25 people in there. And we go from noon till essentially 4 o'clock every other Saturday. And people can come in and go out. There's no set agenda necessarily, although if somebody throws out a topic, I will or somebody else in the group will do a brief, 15, 20-minute presentation on whatever that topic of interest is. So we do that, and that has really helped bring, I think, the people together. Because when you meet every other week, you sit there, and some people just sit there and do their genealogy and, just listen to what's going on. And then if they end up with a question, they'll ask it. But we get free Wi-Fi through the library, so everybody can do their own thing. And you can always sit with one person, and whether you have an Android phone, you want to know how to share your photos to your PC, or whether you want to learn the latest things about Windows 10, 1903, somebody will be there to help you do it. And we even do limited repairs, based on the fact that, if you need this part, we'll order it, we'll come back together 2 weeks, and I'll actually help you put that part in. So I think that's really brought people together in a very cohesive way, because you get to know everybody a lot better than if you're meeting once a month. We still do a formal presentation, like Bob's been down every year since I've been there, and we have the formal speaker once a month. We used to do that in the evenings. We heard the same comment about people not wanting to drive at night because we have a advanced age community here. Let's say our membership is more in years. And so we kind of shifted that to an afternoon meeting. That does impact the availability of some speakers we found, where some speakers we could get come in their free time in the evening now are working and have work commitments. So you got to kind of balance off that availability of speakers and topics versus the availability of the people who want to come out and listen. But I think and then we have a brochure that we put in all the public libraries that really talks about our services and the fact we got 2 kind of program tracks. And that's really brought in, I think we're getting something like 2 new members a month, which may not sound a lot to you guys, but when we were dropping so fast, and those people do become regular attendees. The other thing we did, we got rid of our annual fee. We used to charge $25 a month, and now we do a $25 one-time charge. And we were just building up too much money, and as a new online profit, and even though I get to spend like $300 a year at our Christmas party, and we have a great time at the Christmas party every year, it kind of balances out, so it works well. But I think that's worked out well for us. Maybe there's some ideas you can pick up on there. Today was my first presentation. Thank you very much. I appreciate John's help in getting everything set up. That was very good.
Let me know when you want to do another one, please.
Oh, sure.
Thank you. Over to Huey.
A couple of things. Excuse me. A couple of things. What Ron was talking about with the hotspot, the Sarasota Club meets in a school, and of course they do have Wi-Fi there, but it's so locked down that they can't really use it for the meetings. So they use a Verizon hotspot, and I think they have 5 people can connect to it. So they have some of the forums that also use it, and so the general group can't use it. But we were able to bring in John Kennedy did and Judy has done a speakers bureau to the group, and they're using that hotspot, so it does work. And I'm not sure what they pay for it, but I think one of them maintains it, and they just use it the once a month. And then if you're doing publicity, I found a great website just that helps you make posters to give you some pizzazz to what you might post. Postermywall.com. It's free, long as you let them put a little thing at the bottom with the website, and you can. There's 145,000 templates that you can edit any piece or portion of, and then download the result. I've been using it for my fraternal organization for different events that they've been having, and have really come up with some neat posters and flyers. You could it might draw some attention in some of the communities where you can post stuff.
I have a question about those hotspots.
I have something to say about that too. Go ahead, whoever you are.
Yes, hi, this is Pierre Darmon again. Those hotspots, are they carrier specific, or is that something you buy and can put a SIM card from any carrier?
Each phone has their own, each phone carrier.
That's what I was afraid to hear. Okay.
The Hawaii, I did a presentation. Bob's done a presentation to the Hawaii group. They actually use somebody's phone.
Get up here.
Their individual phone hotspot, and if they use more data, they just pay the person what they owe them when their bill comes due, instead of spending $200 for one. And they're extremely happy with that because their internet in Hawaii is non-existent where they meet. Patricia, they have other things. Patricia, could you change your meetings to the afternoon? And have you thought about a lunch and learn at a restaurant where people like Pikes Peak have, other groups have that, where they just sit around and chat about technology? Somebody could throw out a couple of topics and like we do here, and let it go from there. Everybody loves to eat.
Judy?
Yeah?
The AT&T service that we use here, they charge $150 for the hotspot, and then you have to rent a line from them at $20 a month as long as you use it.
You can't just use somebody's AT&T phone like Hawaii does?
No.
Well, I don't like AT&T, and that just puts another black mark by their name. Sorry.
Okay.
I am biased. One other thing, if you happen to have Spectrum and you have Spectrum One News, they do have, we have that in our area, and it's absolutely fantastic. They do have meeting announcements that they offer, and that would certainly be a way to get your information out, at least to the folks in your area that are Spectrum people and watch that news. And I see somebody's hand up over there. I know.
Judy, one little thing. Meeting at a restaurant is fine, but Pat says that they have 60 people showing up at a meeting. You'd be kind of taking over a restaurant.
I doubt that many people would come for a lunch and learn.
Or perhaps you could just say the first 10 people to sign up for the lunch.
Yeah, whatever. Just an idea.
That would limit it.
Stu from Florida.
Hey, I guess I'm unmuted. Hey, Judy, I'm using Sprint, and I'm using a plan that is very inexpensive, and any club could probably get it. As long as you're a nonprofit, you qualify for it. And that means you buy the hotspot itself for $80, and then you pay $135 a year for as much as you want to use it, and you can use it 24/7. I would think some member wouldn't mind using the hotspot in between meetings. It's a good deal, and that's a program that was set up years ago with the government. It's called an unlimited distributor discount plan or something. It was in my presentation I did this morning. And And so that service is available, and I've been using it. It's not super, but it works fine. Even with 15 up, or 3 up and 15 down, I'm doing okay. I haven't found anything. John Kennedy and I tested with it a couple times this week. It worked fine with us using the Zoom. I did it at the club today, just mainly because I could get some more people to come out at the club.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay.
Any other comments for Patricia?
Well, now the question would have been semi, but hey, I'm like the RSV. 60, don't talk to me. You know, our club has got 200 on its records, and 10% will show up for a meeting. You know, so 60, wow. Francis Photo wanted somebody to make a comment about virtual meetings, virtual meetings, and I know that we've got a couple of groups that have started that. Did you want to address that?
I will. The Toronto group strictly meets via Zoom. Frank, is that what you're talking about?
He can't answer because he's on a chat.
I know, but did he put it in chat? I don't know.
That's all they do is strictly virtual.
Okay. The Toronto group they wanted to resurrect themselves. They were meeting downtown. Traffic was miserable. They tried meeting at the president's house. That didn't work out. So about a year or so ago, they started meeting virtually. Bob has attended and give presentations. Francis has attended. I've attended. It conflicts with my civic engagement group, where I attend every meeting. And when we were having to move for our tried and true, we've been meeting for 31 years, and a lot of that was the second Wednesday of the month. And we moved to a new location, and we had to meet the first Monday of the month. And Huey was giving a presentation to my group in February when it was raining like crazy here. And I thought, nobody will come. And so we had a Zoom meeting. So when we were up in the air on whether we would move and have to pay rent at the new senior center, as opposed to Dan, it's the PC Users Group of Toronto, and or meet via Zoom. They all said, if we want to meet with Zoom, they were all for it. And they'd had one opportunity to do it, and they really enjoyed it. And you know, we did the exact same thing. We met for 3 hours at our old location. I really missed that extra 45 minutes that I'm missing now. And we did the exact same thing with our meetings, and everybody had a gay old time. And off we went for the rest of our time. And if something happens, if we run out of money, which we eventually will, we'll become a Zoom group. With the interactive part like we have today, it's just like sitting around the conference table, and having a meeting. So as far as I'm concerned, it's very doable. Any other questions?
Ron had his hand up.
Yes. Well, thanks to Judy, I've got the Zoom bug, and I've really become quite infatuated with Zoom. So our group started. We have a Chromebook user group within our club, and this last couple of weeks ago, I had our first virtual meeting of our Chromebook user group. And our club doesn't meet; they just meet from November or October to April. So in the summer, there really is nothing happening. So I thought, well, why not have some meetings? So we started this, and it was an immediate success. Huey was our guest speaker. We had a great time. And then I immediately got emails from all sorts of club members wanting to have our regular monthly meeting of the club using the Zoom technology in addition to the Chromebook user group. So it's just expanding and expanding. And I see there's lots of capability here. lots of fun, and it's easy to do. So thank you, Judy, for giving me the Zoom bug.
And let me tell you, it was like pulling teeth to get him to start using Zoom. And
Yeah, that's great.
Ron, how wonderful it is.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It's really good. Just one question, just one comment for Patricia. And I know you're coming to our group when you get down there. Remember, if I ask all our members in our group how many own computers, only half would ever put up their hand. They say, I don't own a computer, I own an iPad, I own a cell phone, or I own this and this, and they don't consider that technology or computers. And really, if you look at cell phones, the cell phone technology is often complicated. Often people don't know how to use them properly. So choosing topics that are not generic to computers, such as how to use Google Photos, how do you upload pictures from your phone, how do you do stuff that is common to something that everybody has, and by and large everybody has a smartphone. So don't choose computer topics. When I go around and talk about things, you never want to talk about Word, you don't want to give an Excel talk, you don't want to give any how to update Microsoft Windows. Those will all just kill your club. You want something that's generic, that everybody, internet security, keep it very generic, and keep it with devices that everybody has, including Apple, because if you chose those generic ones, even people who have iOS devices will want to come as well. And the other thing that's the most important for any club is donuts. You gotta have donuts. If you have donuts, you'll have lots of members come out. So we increased our membership dramatically when we bought donuts every week. So donuts, you gotta have donuts.
In our new location, we can have no food or coffee, and we had specialty coffees too, and hot chocolate and everything. But with this new place, they're paranoid. It looks like a resort hotel. It's really not applicable to seniors, but they call it the Bella Vita Senior Center. But I miss my food, and I talk for 2.5 hours, and I can't have a cup. And I always have my Diet Coke with me, but I can't even have a cup of water. And they're very weird at this new place. Any other things for Patricia? She's gotten some good things, I think. And Al, too, who's hanging in there also. And then,
okay. I see Brian Lance has a question.
Yes, thank you. Well, our group in Tampa, we have great Wi-Fi. We have cookies. We have a decent turnout in the months that we hold the meetings. In the last 3 years, we've had the winter months, the summer months off. However, I think the group has perhaps 80 or 90 members total, and I see the same 15 to 20 people every time. Now, I have the ability at work to post something, but I'm actually worried that if I get many people, our meeting space only holds maybe 35. And if 50 people show up, what would happen? How would I limit the exposure, but still get the word out there? And we have some of the same problems with generating new articles. I've written 2, probably one each of the last 2 decades.
About article, are you talking about writing articles for your newsletter or putting PR together?
PR, mainly.
Okay. Because I know you guys don't use any of my push articles, I don't think.
No, we don't.
Which is unfortunate because they're all written by people that you're looking at right now, some of them, and they are excellent articles of interest on a lot of stuff other than computers. I'm the worst person to talk about PR because that's not my field. If I need something jazzy, I ask my business daughter to put it together for me. Except for Bob's, he did CCleaner for us, and the new CCleaner browser, and I called it the new browser in town, and people were shocked that I even came up with that. Is there anybody that we're talking about? Yes, the answer to your question, Kurt, is yes.
Okay, Huey, I think, has his hand up.
Does anybody that is here have a good PR?
Huey, were you going to say something?
Not about that.
Not about that.
When it comes to that?
Okay, they said the only PR experience I have is getting people out. I don't know how to limit it, just to get the people just the right amount at the meeting. That's going to be tough. You know, as I said, it'd be
extremely optimistic that you think you'll overfill your room.
Perhaps.
Or either can you get other room?
No, our host, Pep and Distributing, has graciously given us space for, 5 or 6 years now, and it's great. Parking is free and spacious, just we have the one room. If we went to standing room only, we could probably do 50, and that would be great. As well, just on the same topic, we suspended dues because the club has quite a bit of cash. So end of the year bash is pretty nice. But it's just a matter of expanding would be great to keep it going.
Yeah. Well, what I'd say is recommend if you can get standing room only at a couple meetings, then I would suggest maybe that you may want to consider moving to a different place if you're going to have that many people. But if you're not getting it every meeting, then, you know, where you are is fine. I think Bob wants to say something.
And Brian,
yes.
I'd give it a go and try it and see what happens. I honestly don't think you'll get 16,000 people coming.
And that flyer site I've just clicked on, that looks great. So that was a very nice thing. Thank you.
Okay, Bob.
If you word your advertising in such a way that don't miss out, we can only accept the first 50. It's a first come, first serve. You would stimulate and hopefully get those 50. And it's not bad to have to say somebody, hey, you missed the boat. Better luck next month. It's better than not filling the room. But advertise it in such a way, first come, first serve. We only have room. Don't be left out.
Oh, darn. John Roy, are you the group that does reservations? Can somebody unmute John, please?
Where is he?
Well, he's in the lower left-hand corner for me.
Yeah, he's the one that's got no AV and stuff.
Okay, I unmuted him. He can talk.
I switched computers. I have my laptop, so I should have AV if you turn me on.
You're on.
Yeah, you got audio.
I know, but I'm saying I'm now on my computer. I can start the video now, but I am.
Yeah, you have to start that. We don't control.
John Roy.
Okay,
oh,
John,
okay. I can.
Does your group take reservations?
Reservations for what?
For meetings.
No, we don't need reservation. Our room will hold about 100 if we get that.
Oh, okay. There's one group on the East Coast that when you Pierre, is it yours? It's some group on the East Coast.
No,
on their
not
website,
me.
under meetings, it says reservations, and you click through and you give them your information.
No, it's not
so
me.
They know who's coming.
Okay.
If I remember who it was, or I'll look and see, I'll do something with it.
Okay. Huey's had his hand up, and then we got a couple comments.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about filling the room until it happens, and then you deal with it. It would be a nice problem for a lot of us to have.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, a week ago Sunday, going back to what Ron was talking about with the Chromebook group, as you know, the second Sunday of every month, I do a Windows Special Interest group online because I moved 120 miles from the Central Florida group. And I've continued now in November, it will be 5 years I have been doing the Windows SIG from 120 miles away from the meeting place. And I record it and then I post it on the website so people who aren't there can view it. But also, I open it, and several people who are on here join in, at least to listen to the SIG. I do it just like I was doing the SIG live. It's very informal, and it's open to any of you or any of your members. I have room for it's Zoom, so there's room for 100 people, and we get about 12 or 15 people online. But that past Sunday was the main meeting was supposed to have a speaker coming in, and he didn't show. But we, Mike Ungerman and I, who probably in 1995 tried to do virtual meetings and record the meetings and so on, he's got the bug again. So he wanted to do the main meeting with Zoom. So we did, and it turned out because we didn't get a speaker, we did there were about 15 people online, plus there were probably about 10 or 15 people in the audience there. He had a handheld microphone that he went around, and so each person in the live audience could ask questions, and we could all hear it, because that's one of the problems you have when you're in a room and you're going back and forth to a speaker. You can't hear anybody but somebody who is right on top of the microphone. But by having a remote battery-operated microphone, we could pass the microphone around. And by the way, it was only like a $30 microphone. It plugs into a USB port and it's battery operated. Anyway, so I did that. And then as soon as that was over, in fact, it wasn't even over, I left the meeting and then joined Ron Brown's group. And we had a full screen like this, and we did a lot of discussion similar to this about Chromebooks. So 3 meetings in one day, all on Zoom. And I think, I know Mike's got the bug to the point tomorrow night. We have an iSig, and we're going to try to do it live there. And then we have some other SIGs that we're also trying it live, and try to open it up to at least some of the members that can't drive at night or are out of town or traveling, or other people can join as well. So I think Zoom is great technology, and it is opening up some doors for us. Whether it's going to help, who knows? But at least we're trying something different.
Yeah, I just want to comment and then go to Judy. Is that I have done our meetings for the mostly on Zoom. We have a regular meeting, and then in the invite to the members about the meeting, we have a Zoom link so they can join. And I know that Judy has joined or tried to join, and John's joined a couple times. As I said, you talk about the logistics. Every once in a while, it does get a little funky trying to get people connected, especially if you have somebody's on a different computer trying to get them to share their hotspot or share it. But sometimes we had, maybe up to 5 people. Not very often lately have we got anybody. But I think because we were going a long time when we had internet connection problems. So, but it does work. And as I said, it's a great way of getting people there. Okay, Judy.
To answer Kurt's question again from Twin Cities, I'll use Bob as an example. We start our meeting at 6:30. I have some mini things that I show and talk about. We have a discussion. Bob came on from Albuquerque at 7 o'clock our time and shared his screen with us, and there he was behind us, and with his exactly what you're seeing now is what we saw. And then he demoed the new browser in town, CCleaner, and we went into the Avast Password Manager program. And when he was finished, we gave him a round of applause, and I ended the meeting. And after that, we had Ron Brown's presentation on technology and, you can save your life, so to speak. I followed up with a PowerPoint on your phone can save your life with all kinds of tips and apps to complement his presentation. And then we had some Q&A. So every time I have a Speakers Bureau presentation, it's just part of my meeting. The rest of it is live, and it's like, somebody walks in the door and says, I'm here to give a presentation, and goes to the front of the room and then, goes away or, sits back in the audience if it's a member, except it's coming from Florida or Albuquerque or Oklahoma with Bill James. And then after that, again, we finish our meeting and then we go home. And if I'm doing it, I make the invitation, I record it, and I upload it to our YouTube channel in case they want to watch it again. I do not broadcast it out to people who aren't there. In my estimation, you make the effort to come to the meeting to get the bennies. Or I probably wouldn't have anybody come otherwise. So that's how we do our meetings. And we've been doing this ever since Zoom was around. And I do have to pat Huey and myself on the back because we got to work with the Zoom kids back in the day when they were just starting out. Jim Evans saw an article in the Wall Street Journal and got in touch, and he had somebody in Ohio from Zoom he worked with. Huey worked with them from Florida, and I worked with them in California, and it was really fun. So we've been thinking about Zoom for a long time. Any other discussion topics, comments?
Let me try to explain my question a little bit more. If I've got a presentation going on in a meeting room, how do I take and share that with other people via Zoom?
Okay, whoever gives the presentation, like if I give a presentation, I usually use my free account that's one-on-one. A Huey, if you have a Huey presentation or a Ron Brown presentation, they have paid accounts up to 100 people. It's just like the VTC that you did today or this. Everybody, no matter where they are, they click on the URL and they're all connected. You're not going to use this. You're going to use the webinar part of it where it's just going to be seeing the presenter at the beginning, sharing the screen, seeing the presenter at the end. They see the same thing that you're doing at your meeting.
The situation that we have in our meetings is we have somebody up, perhaps using a presentation on a large screen, somebody up in front of the room. We have interactions with people, that are in the room, and I'm wondering how I would go about taking and sharing that experience with people that aren't local.
Okay, I will make a suggestion.
Yep.
Kurt, as I said, it can be done. You just have to put their presentation on Zoom, and you can share a screen like they did today. And as I said, if you'd like someone to walk you through it, John Kennedy or myself, and actually Ron Brown's done it quite a bit too, but John and I are sort of trained people to do the VTC. So if you get a hold of either one of us, and we do have Zoom accounts that you can play with, and we can talk about the different web accounts, whether it's a meeting web account or another web account, and then Ron can talk about what he has. I think he wants to say something. So I'll let Ron say something here. Go for it, Ron. Wait a second.
Let me go. Mine's really quick.
Okay.
Bob let me know that he was going to come in early and he'd love to be listening or participating in our meeting, even though he wasn't. You just, have Zoom going. It's picking up your microphone. And if with my mini presentation, I would, the Zoom would be going and whoever was not there could see that too. Over to Ron.
So I've thought about this, and I haven't. And my plan is the following: we're going to broadcast our main meeting, which we have usually about 120 people out, and we're going to. What I think we're going to do is we're going to set up a video camera. We can either use a camera or a video camera, but one of the members in our club actually sometimes taped our meetings and put them up as YouTube videos. Well, I don't want to do that. I just want to tape them and broadcast them on Zoom. So if you have the video camera set up on a tripod in the middle of pointing towards the screen, then that's going to record your audio and your video onto your computer as a program, whatever program you use to capture that. And then all you have to do is just connect Zoom on your computer and share that part of your screen, and that'll broadcast your meeting. Is that how you guys would do it? What do you think, John and Dave, is that would be you just get a camera, just get a video camera, put it on a tripod, and have it record onto a computer, and then you just share that screen, and that screen then will go out onto Zoom.
Okay. The best thing to do is, if you're going to have a PowerPoint presentation, is you share the video, the audio. You know, you got back and forth, and you have the audio, and you could have the video camera turned to the audience. But what you would do is you'd have whoever computer you're running the PowerPoint presentation would run the PowerPoint presentation and share it like you did today. And it goes up on the screen. And that goes out on Zoom. And you can record that on the machine. And that's it. And if you want to, I have, when I do ours, I have a microphone that's pointed out towards the audience. And I have a video camera that's pointed out towards the audience, just a webcam. And then you can share the video and the audio when you start. Then when I get ready to do a presentation, then I share the screen. Or if we have a different presenter than me, then they will log on to Zoom like you logged on today. And it's just like they're in California, but they're standing right in front of that room with the PowerPoint presentation going up onto the screen and over through Zoom. If you really want to get fancy and get a paid account, you can do that on YouTube, or you can do it on Windows Live. But it's really easy just to share it, and it automatically tapes the screen, because it said, Francis is taping it today, and we'll have all those. But it's just, you just share it like we did today. And people, like today, saw your presentation. And if they're sitting in the room, they're seeing it on the screen. If they're online, they're seeing it online, like they did today. It's just a hybrid of the two.
Yeah. Huey?
Yeah.
Bob was first before me.
Yeah.
Well, I figured I was
Ron.
going to do you since you're the old time with the way back to the old presentation days. But go ahead, Bob.
Ron, when I do a presentation remotely for you, you're sharing me on the screen through your computer. If your computer is what's being shared on Zoom, that takes care of everything. That takes care of the presentation. It takes care of the sound. Takes care of everything. You don't need a camera unless you want to share the audience.
Yeah, that's what I was sort of thinking of doing, is because then it's more like being in a meeting rather than just sharing the PowerPoint presentation. I'm not sure. Like I think we'll have to experiment what is the best way, whether to actually have the camera at the back where you're seeing the whole meeting take place.
But then you're gonna miss the PowerPoint. Okay?
Well, you
at
have
one
to
point
have
you're gonna have to go and actually use the PowerPoint presentation, which is going through your computer.
Not if he doesn't have it. If he has it projected on the wall, that would see it all.
Yeah.
It just
still shrink.
Guys are making it so
You'd still shrink your PowerPoint to a point where you won't be able to see it.
Zoom in, zoom out.
Well, you don't want to do a camera if you got a Zoom. I mean, if you're recording the meeting without Zoom, then you can use the recorder.
Well,
But if
Ron's
you're
not
using-
talking about recording the meeting. He doesn't want to record it.
He just wants to show it on Zoom. So I would use the share and share the PowerPoint. Because
and then have the camera pointed around the back, like you said, and with the audio, so that would be your audience would be on the other camera.
Yeah, but they wouldn't be seeing it.
Complicated.
Can I speak now?
Huey.
Okay. Everything you're talking about is what we've been playing with the last couple of weeks, Mike Ungerman and I. And one of the biggest things about the camera aspect of it is the fact that most cameras don't connect to the computer that are really regular video cameras. So what we ended up having to do was go with a webcam. And
Right.
then what we were doing was picking it up and turning it around and pointing it. But it doesn't have a zoom, not to do with this Zoom, but it doesn't have the ability to zoom in on somebody. So you got to carry it up to them. So
Yeah. Well, the two things. I use a separate microphone than the webcam, so I'm sharing the webcam video and microphone audio. And also, if you got the webcam, you can get one that zooms in and out. But the idea is you just see the audience. A lot of them that I give presentation to, and I'm sure Judy gives presentation to, they point the laptop at the people, and that's what you got.
Yeah. You're better off with one that plugs in and you can move it around, a Logitech or something like that. And Mike's been experimenting, but he also has been using a portable microphone. The one thing about Zoom, you can't switch back and forth between these things. You got to actually get out and come back in. So Zoom's not really good at that. So if you're going to use one microphone, that's the microphone you're going to end up using. So if you've got a speaker, he's going to be talking into that. He might be talking into another microphone for the room as well, or the computer can be going out to your speakers instead. So there are some issues there, and then we've been trying to play around with them. I can, for me to get out of this and go find the link, Mike posted the recording we did for the meeting that Sunday. And I'll send it to Judy, and she can send it out because I don't know whether I can find it quickly. But they wanted to zoom in on and show a particular piece of equipment, for instance. They wanted to show that up close. And in order to do that, you've got to have a camera that you can move around and can zoom in and zoom out. Most of the cheaper ones don't zoom in and zoom out. Yeah, what you're doing, you're just moving your microphone around. That's good. Or your microphone, your camera. That works well, but that has a microphone in it that you're probably using. Maybe not you're using the headset. So
you can change the audio during the middle of a presentation.
Not always. No, Zoom doesn't like it. Sometimes it works, but most of the time it doesn't. And then all of a sudden you've got and you got to come back in.
Speak at the bottom, and you can switch up and change.
Sometimes it doesn't like it. One other quick idea about Zoom. The free Zoom is I think it's 40 minutes, and I can't remember if it's 20 minutes.
I'll talk price.
Okay, all right, fine. Good, thank you.
The free Zoom is one-on-one, unlimited time. You can talk till the cows come home. If you have a free account and you have another person or 100 people, it's 40 minutes. Mm-hmm. And what the San Luis Obispo group does, and has been running their board meeting like this for eons, is they meet for 40 minutes, they take a 10-minute break, and then they all click on another URL, which would be perfectly doable also for a group. Other than that, Zoom is $14.99 a month. And that's 100 people. Like, that's the account that Huey has. He probably doesn't pay that much because he probably's had it before it went up to $14.99. You do. We have buy-in for APCUG. We have the beginning rate that our new rep was just shocked that we weren't paying as much as everybody else. They do have a non-profit rate. The only thing it does is saves you sales tax. I'm sorry, but
another use for Zoom, by the way, and I've used it quite often with the one-on-one, and if you've got a free account, it really works out well. If you want to put together a quick tutorial or a demonstration, anyone can do it. You just don't have anybody logged in. You just do it and record it. And share your screen, demonstrate what you want. You talk while you're doing the demonstration. You stop the recording, and you've got a tutorial. And you can make it 5 minutes. You can make it 10 minutes. You can make it up to the 40 minutes. And one-on-one, you can go forever and make a tutorial and then share it with your group as well. So it's a nice way if you're worried about something working or you need the equipment that you use at home and you don't want to bring it in, that's one way to put together a tutorial.
I have a question. in the Chromebook meeting that we did, I recorded it, but I recorded it on my own PC. And when I went to render it, it took like 3 hours to render the you know, to make the movie.
Oh.
If I had chosen the option to have it done online, because that's one of the options, you can record it and store it on their server. Does that make the rendering faster? Is there any advantage to doing that?
Well, I think it is faster, but it's also the fact that you don't have to worry about running out of space. I think it is faster as well. And then you can either share that address from the cloud there, or you can download it and then post it on a website or upload it to YouTube or whatever you want.
Can you take it right from their website to YouTube?
I think there is a way of doing it. I don't recall.
Yeah, but you only have so much limited space on their cloud, because they'll charge you for the cloud. I don't know if you got so much free space or not. We got a paid account, you're going to get some free space.
Yeah,
but not much. I had no problem. As I said, mine took maybe about 5 minutes.
Yeah,
I 3 hours today to render. It didn't take very long.
No, I don't know why I did that, because I just, you know, mine's been done for the 3 hours that we did.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not quite sure why it would have taken that much time to
Chromebook
render.
doesn't have a lot of memory.
Did he do it on the Chromebook, or did?
No, I did it on my PC.
Oh, did you? Okay.
You got a fast PC?
No.
That's part of the reason.
Yeah, but I still didn't think 3 hours.
Buy a new PC.
No. Any other discussion points? Yes, good doctor.
Okay, the audio goes in through the PC. Between the speakers and the audience microphone, just put a mixer. Now you don't have to worry about switching. Just change the mixing. Does that make sense?
You've got to have somebody who knows how to do that, and usually it should be somebody other than the speaker. But
oh,
yeah.
absolutely. Surely
How many mixers do we have left over from Southwest?
At least 3.
Yeah. As I said, we have such a small group that we got one mic covers everything. So.
Okay.
Your group is so small that I was able to share a presentation on my laptop screen instead of on the big screen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other discussion, comments, suggestions? Enjoy yourself.
Good, because my rear end's getting sore.
Learn something new. Learn several things. Hey, I'm a teacher. I expect people to talk back to me. If I ask a question, I really appreciate feedback. Yes, no, indifferent, buzz off lady, whatever.
I'm hungry.
I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, very good presentation, and we will see you at the next VTC. Or if you want a speaker, you got plenty of choices.
Yep.
And I think most people here know about that. And
get in touch if you want the Speakers Bureau list by person.
Yep. Yeah, I got to update mine again.
I'm still waiting.
I know. I'll do it tomorrow.
Oh, you said that before.
I would definitely
there's always tomorrow. I can sing from whatever thing that's from.
Have you updated my bio for the next meeting?
No, Judy has given it to me, and she is holding on to it.
Oh.
I have deleted the old one.
Yes, okay. I asked him if he wanted it now, and then I answered my own question. No, I'll send it closer to November.
Yeah. So, nope, I'm sorry about that. As I said, I had about 4 presentations on my desktop, and I decided today, when my other desktop went out, everything crossed over to this desktop, and I was able to clean some stuff up before I got the second desktop put back. So I got rid of some of those old stuff, because I asked Judy if she had a copy, and then I found a copy I'd hidden on my desktop.
Anyway, thank you so much for participating. Diane, thank you for the kind words. If there are questions in the chat, somebody will send it to me and we will get them all answered one way or another. And you will get an email from me thanking you for attending as soon as I have the PDFs of the presentations up on the website, including my presentation one. And if there's any meeting ideas in the chat box, I'll add those. And I'll get in touch when I have the YouTube videos up in the APCUG's YouTube channel. You might want to think about subscribing to it. And for those of you who happen to have liked APCUG's Facebook account, I should have said that when everybody was here. If you pay attention to what I'm uploading and sharing, it's all about mini presentations. Almost everything that I put on the APCUG's Facebook account, you can turn into a mini presentation because there's tons of screenshots in the articles. And I'm sorry, but you usually get what I'm interested in too. And that is it. Somebody needs to end the meeting.
I can do that.
And I'd also like to get up to 500 likes. We only have 427.
Okay, I just added the YouTube recording of the CFCS meeting where they passed around a microphone and moved the camera around.
Okay, because I think you sent that to me, so I won't.
Yeah, I'm sure I did. Yeah.